Advertising is itself an enormous establishment of satisfactions. In fact, most people would not know what the meaning of their possessions was without advertising.
Have you ever wondered why you think the way you do? Why do certain desires or fears seem to appear out of nowhere? You might be surprised to learn there's a force quietly shaping your thoughts, and it's not entirely your own. The seeds of influence. They, whether you interpret this as societal systems, media outlets, or corporate giants, have perfected the art of slipping into your subconscious. This isn't about paranoia or conspiracy theories. It's about recognizing how influence works, how deeply it seeps into your being, and how you can reclaim control. Let's begin with the subconscious mind. This is the seat of your most primal instincts. It's where your habits, beliefs, and memories live. Unlike your conscious mind, it doesn't question or reason, it absorbs, and this is precisely why it's so vulnerable. Imagine your mind as fertile soil, with every word, image, or sound that enters it acting as a seed. Over time, these seeds grow into towering trees, shaping the landscape of your thoughts. The advertising slogan you heard 10 times last week, it's now etched in your subconscious, shaping what you buy without you realizing it. The repeated headlines telling you what to fear, they've planted a seed of worry that silently guides your actions. Consider the power of repetition. Ancient wisdom, like the teachings of the Buddha, speaks of the power of what we repeatedly think about. What you think, you become, he said. The modern world has weaponized this truth. The more you're exposed to certain ideas, the more they define your inner world. The Trojan horse of familiarity. They know that your subconscious craves the familiar. That's why patterns and rhythms are used to bypass your conscious defenses. A catchy jingle in an ad doesn't just make you hum, it imprints a message deep within. A well-timed headline on your favorite social media platform doesn't just inform, it shapes your worldview. Even cultural narratives, stories about success, beauty, or happiness, slip in this way. Who decided what living your best life looks like? Who decided what success means or how it should feel? Often, it wasn't you. These ideas were presented to you over and over, wrapped in relatable stories and trusted voices, until they became your own. Politicians, in particular, have long understood the power of storytelling as a tool for social manipulation. They frame narratives that play on our deepest hopes and fears, convincing us that their vision of the future is the one we must follow. Through repetition, emotion, and authority, these ideas become embedded in our collective consciousness. A politician's success isn't just in their policies, it's in their ability to tell a story that aligns with what we're already primed to believe or what they want us to internalize. The tale becomes so familiar, so trusted, that it feels like our own truth. They, whether you think of them as corporations, media conglomerates, or unseen influencers, understand one critical truth. Your subconscious craves familiarity. This craving isn't weakness, it's survival. Your mind is designed to seek patterns because patterns are safe. They help you navigate an overwhelming world by making quick decisions based on what feels comfortable or recognizable. But this natural tendency is precisely what's exploited. Familiarity becomes the Trojan horse through which your defenses are bypassed, and new ideas, often beneficial to them, slip into your subconscious unnoticed. Long after you've turned off the TV or skipped the ad, the melody lingers, carrying with it a brand name or slogan. You might find yourself reaching for a product in the store, convinced it's the best choice when in reality, the choice wasn't yours at all. It was implanted. Then there's the power of social media. Headlines, trending topics, and memes aren't just information, they're carefully curated narratives. Algorithms are trained to feed you content that feels personal, reinforcing certain worldviews or habits until they seem like your own. How often have you repeated a phrase you saw online without questioning its source? The narrative slides into your subconscious, wrapped in humor, relatability, or urgency, and becomes part of your inner world. The architects of cultural narratives. This same strategy extends to broader cultural narratives. Stories about success, beauty, love, and happiness are not as organic as they appear. Who decided what success should look like? Was it you? Or was it sold to you through movies, magazines, and now endless scrolling? The perfect life presented by influencers, the idea that true happiness is tied to wealth or status, and the relentless focus on physical appearance as the key to beauty, these aren't universal truths. They're constructs, often designed to fuel consumerism. If you believe success means driving a luxury car or wearing a specific brand, you're more likely to buy into that narrative, literally. Even the idea of living your best life has been commodified. Travel, self-care routines, and curated social media feeds are marketed as the ultimate path to fulfillment. But if you pause to think, whose definition of best are you chasing? It's likely not yours. These ideals have been presented repeatedly, dressed in glossy packaging, until they feel like your own aspirations. This isn't a new phenomenon. Elites have been shaping the collective subconscious for centuries. Think of propaganda during wartime, designed to foster nationalism and unify people under a common cause. Posters, speeches, and slogans weren't just informational, they were crafted to appeal to emotions, creating a sense of urgency and loyalty. Edward Bernays, often called the father of public relations, was one of the first to explicitly articulate how mass manipulation works. Using insights from his uncle Sigmund Freud's work on the subconscious, Bernays helped shape public opinion by appealing to desires and fears people didn't even realize they had. He didn't just sell products, he sold ideas. For example, his campaigns in the 1920s made smoking among women socially acceptable by tying it to ideas of freedom and empowerment. This historical manipulation has only evolved with technology. Today, the tools of influence are more precise and the reach is global. Behavioral data collected from every click, like, and share is used to tailor messages that resonate deeply with your subconscious, making them feel authentic and self-chosen. Recognizing the Trojan horse of familiarity is the first step to reclaiming your mind. Start asking questions. Why does this idea feel true to me? Where did it come from? Does it align with my essence, or was it handed to me? Awareness creates a crack in the illusion. Once you start recognizing these patterns, you'll be able to break free from them. Instead of passively absorbing what's presented to you, engage critically. Choose what to let in and what to reject. And most importantly, start defining success, beauty, and happiness on your terms. Create your own narratives, ones rooted in your authentic values and desires. The more intentional you are about what you consume and believe, the less influence they will have over your subconscious. Your mind is incredibly powerful, and the way you focus it is what gives it strength. By guarding your inner world, you can protect it from manipulation and use it as a tool for your growth, creation, and true fulfillment. The moment you start noticing these patterns is the moment you begin to wake up. Plato's allegory of the cave offers a timeless metaphor for this realization. Most of us, like the cave's prisoners, sit in darkness, watching shadows on a wall. We think the shadows are reality because we've never questioned them. But what happens when someone turns around and sees the light? At first, it's blinding. It's uncomfortable, but over time, it becomes liberating. To reclaim your mind, you must become the person who dares to turn around, to question the shadows and see them for what they are. It's not easy, but it's necessary. The pull of emotional triggers are one of the easiest ways they access your subconscious is through your emotions. When you feel something deeply, fear, joy, anger, it creates a gateway to your subconscious. In this heightened state, your mind becomes more open to suggestion. This is why fear-based headlines, emotionally charged ads, and divisive content are so effective. Take a moment to reflect on how this has played out in your own life. Have you ever bought something on impulse, only to wonder later why you felt so compelled? Have you ever felt deeply upset about an issue, only to realize you were reacting to someone else's narrative? The stories you consume are shaping you, often more than you realize. Understanding this is the first step toward freedom. Despite this, it's entirely possible to protect your subconscious without shutting out the world. The key is discernment. What are you letting in? What are you exposing yourself to repeatedly? Just as you wouldn't eat spoiled food, you shouldn't allow toxic ideas to nourish your mind. Start observing what you consume and begin asking yourself why certain things resonate with you. Are they rooted in your authentic self, or are they echoes of someone else's agenda? Imagine your mind as a garden. Would you knowingly plant weeds? Would you water them, allowing them to grow wild until they choke the life out of your flowers? Of course not. Yet every toxic idea, every negative influence we absorb acts like a weed. Without awareness, they grow unnoticed, shaping our thoughts and behaviors in ways we never intended. Start observing your daily habits. Notice what you consume, whether it's the news, social media, or even the conversations you engage in. Ask yourself why certain things resonate with you. Are they rooted in your authentic self, or are they merely echoes of someone else's agenda? This awareness is the first step in reclaiming your mind. This will allow you to reclaim the power of your mind, making it harder for them to access it. And when you begin to choose what influences you, you'll realize how much potential you truly have. The next step is learning to replace the unwanted seeds with your own, ones that align with your highest vision. The subtle power of words, breaking the spell. Language is far more than a tool for communication. It's a system of influence, a framework for shaping reality. Every word carries a frequency, a vibration that resonates with your subconscious. Once you see how deeply embedded these patterns are, you realize how words have been used not just to communicate, but to control. Take the word advertisement. Its Latin root, advertere, means to turn towards. An ad redirects your attention and, in some cases, influences your focus or desires, and more importantly, your energy. Every slogan, every image, every cleverly crafted tagline acts like a spell, subtly planting ideas into your subconscious. Over time, these spells grow into beliefs: what you need to buy, who you need to be, and what you need to strive for. Then there's the illusion of hard work. The language we use in contracts and agreements reveals how deeply these systems are designed to bind us. The word contract itself stems from Latin roots meaning to draw together or to pull into a con. Every time you click "I agree" on terms and conditions you didn't read, you're entering into a binding spell, one you might not fully understand. Legal language, with its precise and almost arcane phrasing, ensures you're not just signing an agreement, but entering into a structure that favors the creators of the terms, not you. Hidden meanings in everyday words. This control extends into the words you use every day. The word government comes from the Latin gubernare, meaning to steer or to direct, and mens, meaning mind. It's not just a system of leadership, it's an open acknowledgement of mental control. The word authority holds a similar revelation. It stems from the author, the one who writes the story. Those in authority aren't just managing systems, they're authoring your reality. Let's look at television, a simple device for entertainment. Not quite. The word breaks down to tele, distant, and vision, sight. At its core, it's a tool to project a vision into your consciousness from afar. And the content you consume on television is aptly named programming. It's not just entertainment, it's a method of writing your mental script, shaping your perceptions and beliefs with each episode, commercial, or news broadcast. The word news seems innocent, but even it carries a hidden layer of influence. Think of it as an acronym: North, east, west, and south. It symbolically represents shaping your understanding of the world in all directions, feeding you curated narratives that often align with specific agendas. Consider the word mortgage. It comes from the old French mort, death, and gage, pledge. A mortgage isn't just a loan, it's a lifelong commitment, a death pledge that ties your energy and freedom to a financial system for decades. Even pharmacy holds a deeper meaning. Its root lies in the Greek pharmakeia, which in ancient contexts could have connections to potions or magical substances. While modern medicine undoubtedly saves lives, the etymology of the word reminds us of its profound influence over the body and mind, an influence that's often wielded by industries with their own agendas. These examples aren't just linguistic trivia, they're reminders of how language subtly shapes your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Each word acts as a chain in a larger system, guiding you to think, feel, and behave in ways that align with the scripts you didn't write. The language you use daily, without thought, often reinforces limitation and struggle. Think about the phrases we say casually. I'm under the weather. I have to do this. I can't afford that. These statements are more than descriptions, they're declarations. Saying I'm under the weather implies being dominated by external forces, reinforcing a sense of helplessness. I have to do this removes your agency, framing you as a passive participant in your own life. I can't afford that cements scarcity as a mindset, ensuring that abundance feels perpetually out of reach. Every time you speak such words, you're reinforcing their energy in your subconscious, embedding them deeper into your mental framework. Reclaiming the power of words. But just as language can trap you, it can also set you free. Words are not inherently chains. They can also be keys. By shifting the language you use, you can begin to rewrite your mental programming. Instead of saying, I'm under the weather, try, I'm in the process of healing. Instead of, I have to do this, say, I choose to do this. Replace, I can't afford that, with, I'm working towards that. The shift might seem small, but its effects are profound. By consciously choosing your words, you align your mind with empowerment, possibility, and agency. You begin to take back the authorship of your story. They rely on your unconscious participation. The more passive you are with your language and thoughts, the easier it is for them to shape your reality. But awareness breaks the spell. Once you recognize the hidden meanings and intentions behind words, you can no longer be controlled by them. This isn't just about changing your vocabulary, it's about reclaiming your consciousness. It's about seeing through the illusions and taking back your power to define what's true for you. Each word you speak, think, and write becomes a declaration of the reality you choose to create. Sartre and the freedom to choose. French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre offers a powerful perspective that can illuminate this process. Sartre, a pioneer of existentialism, believed that we are radically free, even in a world filled with constraints. His famous assertion, "Man is condemned to be free," reflects the idea that we are always making choices, whether we realize it or not. Sartre's philosophy challenges us to take responsibility for those choices. In the context of protecting your subconscious, this means acknowledging that every piece of information you consume, every influence you accept, is a choice. While it might feel like certain forces, society, media, or others, are imposing ideas on you, Sartre reminds us that we have the power to reject them. To build a fortress for your mind, you must exercise this freedom consciously. It's about deciding what you will allow into your mental space and recognizing that this decision is yours alone. Protecting your subconscious doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It's not about fearfully avoiding everything that might challenge or discomfort you. Instead, it's about developing a strong inner filter. Think of your mind as a house. Would you leave the door wide open for anyone to walk in, or would you install a sturdy door, one that allows you to welcome in the right people while keeping others out. This doesn't mean you should only surround yourself with what feels comfortable. Growth often comes from engaging with challenging ideas, but discernment means deciding how and when you engage. It means recognizing when something is enriching your mind versus when it's pulling you away from your essence. Finding strength in awareness. This process requires patience and courage. It's not easy to step back and critically examine the influences that have shaped your thinking, but it's one of the most empowering things you can do. As Sartre reminds us, with freedom comes responsibility. Taking responsibility for your mental landscape is an act of reclaiming your personal power. Over time, this practice of discernment will make your mind a fortress. They will find it much harder to access your subconscious because you'll no longer be passively absorbing the world around you. Instead, you'll be actively curating it. By protecting your mind and aligning it with your highest vision, you're not just safeguarding yourself. The highest vision is the purest expression of who you are and what you are capable of becoming. It represents the alignment of your thoughts, actions, and intentions with a purpose that transcends the mundane. By protecting your mind, guarding it against negativity, distraction, and self-doubt, you allow this vision to remain clear and untarnished. You're creating a ripple effect that inspires others to do the same. When your energy is clear and focused, it has the power to uplift not just your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. This ripple effect isn't just about achieving personal goals, it's about uplifting the collective. Your aligned energy carries an undeniable power, touching lives in ways you might never see but always feel. As you continue this journey, remember that building a fortress for your mind isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Each small step you take to reclaim your mental space is a step toward greater freedom and authenticity. And with each step, you'll discover just how much potential lies within you, waiting to be unleashed. Once you've begun to recognize and weed out the toxic influences, the next step is replacing them with seeds of your choosing. This isn't merely about avoiding negativity, it's about intentionally cultivating what nourishes your mind and spirit. Sartre's idea of self-creation reminds us that we're not passive observers of life. Every action and choice shapes who we are and what we become. Similarly, every thought and influence we allow into our mental space shapes the environment within. To replace negativity, you can start with affirmations. These aren't just empty words, they're declarations of possibility. Repeating statements like, "I am capable" or "I attract positivity" may seem simple, but they act as tiny seeds. With time and care, these seeds grow into new ways of thinking that can crowd out the remnants of old, unhelpful patterns. Choose books, music, and conversations that stretch your imagination. Engage with people who inspire you or challenge you to see the world differently. Growth doesn't always come from comfort, but it does come from intentional exposure to ideas and influences that align with your true self. One fascinating belief that ties directly into this idea comes from the ancient concept of thought vibrations. In some Eastern philosophies, it's believed that thoughts carry an energetic frequency, much like sound or light. Every thought, whether it's positive or negative, sends out ripples into the universe. This idea suggests that the thoughts you think don't just stay within your mind. They influence the energy around you and the experiences you attract. This belief is rooted in practices like mantra meditation, where specific sounds or phrases are repeated to align the mind with higher frequencies. The idea is that certain words and sounds hold vibrations that can raise your own energetic state. While mantras might be tied to specific spiritual traditions, the underlying principle can be applied universally. What you focus on and repeat mentally has the power to shape your reality. By replacing toxic thoughts with uplifting affirmations or mantras, you're not just rewiring your brain, you're recalibrating the energy you emit. This is why the practice of gratitude, for instance, is so transformative. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you're tuning your mind to a frequency of abundance rather than lack. Another belief tied to the power of thought is found in animism, the idea that everything in nature holds a spirit or energy. Ancient cultures across the world believed that connecting with natural elements could purify the mind and elevate thoughts. For example, the Celts viewed trees as sacred beings that could offer wisdom and healing. They believed that spending time among certain types of trees, like oaks or yews, could help quiet the mind and reset your mental state. This connection to nature can be a powerful tool for replacing mental weeds. A walk in the woods, sitting by a stream, or simply observing the patterns of the clouds can act as a natural reset button. Nature doesn't rush, and it doesn't cling to toxic influences. It grows, renews, and transforms effortlessly. By aligning your thoughts with the rhythm of nature, you can mirror this process. Let go of what no longer serves you and nurture the thoughts that help you grow. Imagine your mind as a garden again. Each day is an opportunity to plant something new. When you replace a harmful belief with an empowering one, it's like planting a vibrant flower where a weed once grew. Over time, the more you nurture these positive seeds, the less space there will be for negativity. But remember, a garden isn't static. It requires ongoing care. Just as you wouldn't plant flowers once and expect them to thrive forever, your mental garden needs consistent attention. Pay attention to what you're allowing in. If you notice a toxic influence creeping back, address it. Uproot it gently but firmly and replace it with something more beneficial. Embracing the practice. The art of replacing the weeds is not about perfection. It's a practice, a journey of self-awareness and growth. Some days you'll notice the weeds before they take root. On other days, you might find them growing unnoticed. That's okay. Every effort you make to cultivate a healthier mental space brings you closer to your highest potential. By embracing this practice, you're not just improving your own life. You're also creating a ripple effect. Your positive energy influences the people around you, encouraging them to tend to their own inner gardens. Over time, these small changes contribute to a larger collective shift toward harmony and growth. In this way, the ancient belief in thought vibrations comes full circle. Your thoughts are not isolated, they're part of a greater network of energy. By choosing to replace negativity with positivity, you're not just transforming your mind, you're transforming the world. So what story will you write for yourself? Will you continue to follow the script handed to you, or will you author your own? By staying true to your highest vision, you cultivate not only personal growth but also a shared elevation of spirit, reminding everyone that they too can align with their purpose and radiate their light into the world. The choice is yours, and it starts with the words you use. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.